Hello. So today I'm going to be talking about the 1960 Valdivia earthquake. This earthquake happened on May 22nd, 1960, off the coast of Chile, parallel to the town Valdivia. So this is one of the um, most damaging and one of the biggest earthquakes of the 20th century. While this happened right before technology had been invented to really um, precisely measure the scale of seismic events, um, they were able to predict the scale of it after the technology was invented. So the shock that they've predicted was registered to be up to 9.5. So it caused extreme damage in the town of Valdivia, and most homes and buildings were rendered unlivable, or just completely destroyed because of the earthquake. Not only did the earthquake itself cause damage, but it created such extreme shock and waves, basically, that tsunamis were created. And if you look at the photo, um, this chart that I put up, it basically shows the time in which the tsunami reached all these different places along the coastline. And the disaster left over 2 million people homeless. So it displaced a bunch of people. It doesn't have an extremely high death toll, thankfully, but the the effects were mostly in relation to the displacement of people from their homes. Um, so the reason why earthquakes happen in this area and why of that scale is because Chile is located right on the border of the Nazca Plate and the Southern American Plate, and it's caused a subduction zone. So new crust emerges from the Nazca Plate, which is descending under the South American Plate at about 6 to 10 centimeters a year. And due to this, over time, over millions and millions of years, the Andes Mountains have formed from the new crust that's being created. Um, and earthquakes happen when, in these subduction zones, plates have difficulty moving because of tension. And so this happens in the hypocenter or the epicenter. And so the stress releases shock, which then creates earthquakes, which you can see um, in this photo here, as well as this photo up here kind of explains the formation of the Andes Mountains. Um, so this event was predicted in a way because a day prior there had been another earthquake which affected the capital, Concepcion, um, which caused a bunch of damage. It was rated an 8.8, or estimated to be that. Um, and because the coast of Chile is on the fault line, it makes it extremely susceptible to earthquakes, as well as volcanic eruptions, which it is located on, or in the Pacific Ring of Fire, which is shown here. Um, and you can see the key. So it happened in this area right here. Um, so the range of the earthquake, um, and the damage it caused has a lot to do with the tsunamis that preceded it, that which ended up causing um, millions of dollars worth of damage. As what I mentioned before, it displaced millions. There was a big international response, a lot of donations to Chile, as well as the other places that were affected. Um, and they were able to mend the highways within the first few days in order to deliver supplies. The government started enforcing anti-seismic laws for buildings after this, so making sure that structures were built in ways that could potentially help support them if an earthquake were to happen, which it does constantly in that area, or at least historically it has. Um, and then this is an image that kind of shows the movement of the Nazca Plate, and then the ocean sediments and the buildup that's being created in the form of this new crust. Um, and so, one thing I want to mention is that global warming doesn't influence earthquakes. Um, the only climate change that really has been affected by the earthquakes and by just this area and the plates is flooding. There's, I think, been disruption to like the border of Chile, so that it's a lot more susceptible to flooding than it has been prior. Um, and then here are my sources. And yeah, thank you.